my experiences. I went through in 2009 what for me was a pretty traumatic year. I'm not going to go into everything that happened, but everything just seemed to snowball, and I didn't know it at the time, but I was depressed. What I don't know how it's not an easy thing to talk about, but I want to, because I want to help other people. What actually triggered me to attempt suicide was a comment that someone else made about me that I wasn't supposed to know about, but did. And the comment was about how miserable I was, basically. And that triggered something inside of us, and it got me thinking, and all of those things that had been upsetting me, that built up and built up and built up, that comment to me made sense of it. And I decided then and there that I was going to commit suicide. I planned it for 9 months. It wasn't, a lot of people think when you attempt suicide that it's you know, you've had an argument or something and you're using it as a weapon, or you're using it as a way of as a cry for help, or as a way of punishing others, some people seem to think. With me, it wasn't like that. I never thought about what it would be like if I didn't succeed. Didn't think about the impact on anyone else. But when I made that decision that I was going to end my life, I was happy. For the first time in a long time, I was happy, and it felt right. And I was excited in a weird way. But I wanted to be around at the time my niece was going to turn 16 in the August. And it was December the 12th, 2009 when I made the decision. So I wanted to be around to see her turn 16. So I ended up holding on a little bit longer because of things that were going on in my family. And on the 19th of September 2010, I attempted suicide. And it was, as I say, I planned it. I wrote letters to everyone that I loved, and also to people that I didn't. For example, the woman that made the comment, that sort of brought it all tumbling together. Because often in life, we're all going through our own life, and we're all just so focused on what we're going through and what we're doing that we don't think how little comments can affect other people. For example, if you're walking down the street and you don't see that someone you know you've just walked past, to you it's nothing, or you don't stop to talk, you just say hello and you keep going. But if that person's in the deepest, darkest place and they start thinking, why didn't they stop and talk to me? Why didn't they notice I was there? Am I that worthless that no one will bother? And it all spirals and spirals and spirals. And even little defenseless comments, silly little comments, can be taken and not exactly twisted, but someone can take that and they can use it in a way that further deteriorates their mental health. So I think people need to be more aware about how their actions and their words can affect other people. There's actually a really good film. It's about bullying, but it sort of shows how little words and actions can have an impact on someone. And I think it's called Girl Like Her or Girl Like Me. So if you're interested in how your actions impact on others, I would definitely recommend watching that, because it's sort of a good example of what I'm saying, how people's actions impact on others. So I thought about how I was going to do it. My initial thought was to starve myself to death. But then I couldn't do that because I didn't want people to know what I was planning, and I started passing out. I got down to under 6 stone. So after that, I decided that I would take an overdose. I actually researched the best way to commit suicide and succeed. And I found out that women are more considerate than men, because women think about who finds their body, whereas men don't. And I discovered that more women take overdoses than any other suicide attempt, and they're more likely to fail because they tend to throw up what it is that they've taken. So I went as far as going to my doctor to make sure that I succeeded in telling him that I was feeling nauseous, and I got anti-sickness tablets, which I took with the overdose that I took to make sure that I would succeed. So it wasn't a cry for help. I was determined to do it. As I say, didn't think about the impact that it would have on people around me, because I actually thought they would be better off without me there. I know now that's completely bollocks. But that's just the place that I was at that time. So I decided that I would attempt suicide at work in the toilets, because I didn't want my mum or dad finding my body. So I left my desk and I went to the bathroom, and at my desk I took 27 morphine tablets, and the anti-sickness tablets and some paracetamol, and went to the bathroom to wait for it to happen. And luckily a woman, I don't know who she was, there was multiple businesses in the building where I worked, and this woman came into the bathroom from another business, and somehow she knew what I was doing. I was crying, but I was doing it very quietly, I thought. And somehow she knew, and I told her that I didn't want help, but she'd phoned the police, and the police came, and I begged them to leave me in the toilet. I just wanted to die, and I proper begged, just leave me, just let me go, I've had it, I've had enough. So then it was the case of going with the police or being sectioned. So I went with the police, and this is a bit that I find the most annoying about the thing, that an ambulance came to collect me. And you would think like paramedics and stuff would be educated on mental health issues and everything. But a paramedic, when I got in the ambulance, they were talking to us and asking what I'd taken, and I wouldn't tell them at that point, because then they would know what to give us to counteract it. So I said that I just wanted to be left, and this paramedic said, "But why do you want to die? You're so pretty." And I just looked at him and I couldn't believe that he'd said that, because it's indiscriminate. It doesn't matter how much money you've got, what you look like, where you come from, what your upbringing's been. It doesn't matter. If you're going to have a mental health issue, you're going to have a mental health issue. It's just like cancer. It hits anyone. And I found, for someone that was trained in health and dealing with the public in such a situation, I thought it was an absolute ridiculous thing for someone to come out with. And I was just flabbergasted, and I was thinking, you just don't know, you don't have a clue. And it's the same with a lot of people. A lot of people do think that the lower part of society, I guess you could say, are more inclined to have mental health issues than anyone else. That's not necessarily true. A lot of mental health issues are hereditary, or it can be caused by things that have gone on in your life, or it's not really to do with where you're brought up or how much money you have or anything. It's like cancer. If it once strikes you, it will strike you. So as I say, I attempted suicide. I got to hospital. One thing I'd never thought about was the impact that my attempted suicide would have on other people. So when I got to the hospital, I actually refused to see my mum, who they'd phoned and told what had happened. My mum didn't know if I was alive or dead, because they wouldn't tell her anything, because I'd said I didn't want to see her, because I knew my parents were going to be devastated. and I couldn't cope with that at that time. But I didn't realise the impact that that would have on my mum, that she didn't know if I was alive or dead. She just wanted her baby, and I'd left her. But eventually, I saw my parents, and my dad broke down. My mum was a bit stronger, but the two of them just tore me apart. And that was the worst thing about it. The fact that I was there. I was there and I had to deal with that fallout I'd never expected to be. In films, 2 minutes. In films, you see someone attempting suicide, like they stop them from jumping off a bridge or jumping in front of a train or whatever. And in films, you see them talk that person down, and it's like everything is going to be all right. You haven't done it. All that stuff's going to go away. That's not necessarily the case. If you have, if it's just been caused by situations in your life, like you've lost your job, you haven't told your partner that you've lost your job, that means that your relationship's suffering, you're worried about losing your house, all that sort of stuff, that's all tied together. That sort of stuff, once people know, you can get the appropriate help, and that can get better, and that can make your mood get better. When you've got a condition like bipolar disorder, it's not, you're never going to be normal. It's a battle that I have to fight every single day, and it's one that, thank goodness, I'm winning. But it never just magically goes away. I had an amazing family to support me, and I had a therapist called Donna, who was absolutely amazing, and a recovery and support worker called Sue, who I just couldn't have asked for any better than those two ladies. They were absolutely phenomenal. But it took a long time to get better. I actually didn't leave the house for a year and a half. I lost my hair with medication that I was taking, hence the fact I'm going it super long. I'm going to donate it when it gets long enough, because I know what it's like to have no hair. So I'm going to donate it to the Princess Trust or something like that, to save a kid from feeling the way that I did when I had no hair. So you don't magically get better. I started off living for other people. I was living for my parents, my nieces and nephews, my dog. And eventually I noticed I wasn't living for them anymore. I was living for me. As I didn't leave the house for a year and a half, which was something really difficult. And then I had to get used to going back out again, which is what my support worker helped me with. Social anxiety is something that I really struggle with. 2 seconds, I've got to shout my mum. I'll be 2 minutes! Sorry, my pizza's here. Social anxiety is something that I really struggle with, and something that I'm really self-conscious about. Because I didn't leave the house for a year and a half, and still it just, and I think it's also part of my condition. I struggle being around other people. I'm okay with 1 or 2 people that I know, but I get really nervous around a lot of people, which I know a lot of you that have been to my demos are going to think, but she's so confident. And I am when I'm talking about Crafters Companion products, or I'm representing Crafters Companion, because I'm so passionate about crafters, and I'm so passionate about sharing the information that I have with other people. But you'll know yourself, crafters we're like all the same. It doesn't matter your background or what you've done or what you do for a job. Nothing matters. When it comes to crafters, you've got that in common, and crafters will support you no matter what. So when I'm at a demo and stuff, I'm completely different than what I am. And if you see me out, if I was like in a supermarket and you saw us, I would probably put my head down and pretend that you weren't there, because I wouldn't know what to do. And after every social interaction, I question myself like several times. If I handled that right, did I do that wrong? And sometimes I can say something that offends someone. I know there's a girl at the store, and I hope she won't mind me saying this. There's a girl at our store, Newton Aycliffe, that every time I saw her, she was one off her feet, and I always used to say, God, you look knackered. And then she was like, oh, well, thanks, Susan. And I was like, oh, God, it's just I didn't know what else to say. That was all I could think of to say, because my brain doesn't work like other people's. So I can end up saying stuff that can offend other people, and I'm really conscious of it. And that makes me really anxious about going out. As I say, at Craftigans, I'm fine. But even then, I do get concerned. And I did say to my friend this year, like, keep an eye on us. And if I say something that you think is inappropriate, just let us know. It's just, I get so uncomfortable around people. And too trusting as well. So the social anxiety and the not leaving the house sort of went hand in hand. It had an effect on my parents, particularly. They couldn't believe that their daughter had been so low and they hadn't noticed. But the truth is, I didn't even think I was depressed. I was planning to end my life, and I was the happiest I'd ever been. So how could they be expected to know? And it also, I was irritable with them. I wasn't me anymore. Not the me that they knew. So they had to deal with that. They felt like they'd lost their daughter, and a stranger was in the house instead. So I had the burden of that on my shoulders as well. But as I say, eventually I realised I wasn't living for other people anymore. I was living for me, and crafting was a big part of that. It was great therapy. And when I was crafting, I would talk about things that I'd been bottling up. So I started to do a lot better. I was doing classes, I started going out more and stuff. And then in 2013, my dad passed away. And I struggled a lot. And we tried everything to get help. And we kept phoning up saying I was suicidal. And there was just no help forthcoming. And I didn't want to die. I couldn't leave my mum alone. So I did some stupid and reckless stuff on a self-destruct mission just to try and get help. And it's probably one of the biggest regrets of my life. But I did it, and I've got to embrace that fact, because it's part of who I am. It's something I've learned from. And everyone makes mistakes, and I think everyone deserves a second chance. And things aren't always as cut and dry as what you think they are initially. So after I self-destructed, mental health services got involved again, and I managed to get the help that I needed. And then we sort of get to today. So I battle every day. Every day is like I'm fighting a fight. I don't know if I'll win the war, but I'm winning the battle each day, and that is something. I recently lost my baby boy, my dog Bobby, who was my best friend, and he got me. He was a big part of getting me through my attempt. So that's been really difficult, but I'm coping, and I'm still here. And I'll tell you something, that woman in that bathroom, I don't know who you are, but thank you so much, because I got to live all those extra years with my dad, those extra years with my dog and my mum. And I am so grateful for everything that I've experienced since. So thank you so much to that complete stranger that saved my life. And to anyone watching that's feeling low, you can bloody kick its ass. Like, I've been saying to people since, I'm stubborn and I hate to lose. This is one fight that I am goddamn certain that I am not going to lose. So if you're watching this now and you're struggling, or you know someone who is, you can, if they need someone to talk to, I'm always available to talk to people about my experiences and show them that there is another way. It does get better. As you can tell, it still hurts. But I'm alive and I'm so glad I am. So if you're struggling to see, and contact me through my website. There's Samaritans. Now I'm saying all this information as if you are in the UK. If you are in another country, please either Google it to find out where the help is available for you, or you can get in touch with me and I'll find something out for you. So Samaritans, the number for them is 116 123. They are available 24 hours a day and every single day of the year. So no matter when you need help, they are always there. And if need be, they can get in touch with the recommended organisation to help you, or they could offer you advice on how you can go about doing that. It's one phone call. It's free, so you don't even have to worry about the phone bill. Just make that phone call. Once you've talked about it, it is so much easier to cope with. And another number is Mind. They also have a brilliant website that can offer you support too. But Mind's number is 0300 123 3393. And both of those organisations are brilliant. They will offer you help. They will offer you support. There's lots of other places out there. I know I used to volunteer at a mental health centre in Durham called St Margaret's Centre. And I used to also volunteer at Aspire, which helps women further their confidence and learn. That one's based in Chesley Street in County Durham. There's places like that everywhere. Even if it just gets you out of the house for 1 hour and gets you to meet new people, it helps, and it is the key. So please, if you're watching this and you are feeling that you're in the depths, you can survive. I promise you that you can survive, but you've got to bloody fight, and it's worth every single second. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you have found it informative, and I hope that it helps someone, even if it's not help someone from committing suicide, even if it's just helping you to understand someone that's in that situation. It's a horrible, horrible thing to have, but it's a horrible, horrible thing to have to watch the impact that it does on your family. So please talk to people. Try and stop anyone from getting to that desperate situation that I did. Thank you very much. Goodbye.